Is How to Train Your Dragon the worst live action ever made? Did DreamWorks actually get it right? Well, come closer, because How to Train Your Dragon is already in theaters and I need to tell you a few things before you go watch it. Alright? Come closer and let's go. Welcome to Cine lovers and to Burke. How to Train Our Dragon is in theaters. If you've never seen the animated film in theaters, now's the time to get a taste of at least the live action version on the big screen. We already know the story of How to Train Your Dragon, and even though we already know what's going to happen, we even know the end. For me, it was different. It brought out feelings that the animation didn't. It had a different vibe. For me, it had a stronger connection. I felt much more connected, much more immersed. I had a stronger feeling with the live action than with the animation. In the live action, I felt like I was really in Burke, like I was part of that story. That's what's cool, when the story puts you inside it, when you're not just a viewer but a character. You're more than just watching it. You're inside the story. You're with the characters. You're part of that universe. And in this live action, I felt that. I really felt like a Viking there, watching everything happen and not being able to do anything, because I was in the theater seat, but still being part of it. That was a very important and interesting point the movie delivered, at least for me. Talking about the CGI, when the trailer came out, we were already saying, wow, what is this? It looked perfect, and it stayed that way in the movie. The CGI is beautiful. Toothless is perfect. You just want to take Toothless home. And not just him. Let's talk about all the dragons, the visual effects, the special effects, the soundtrack. It was all amazing. Everything was perfect. The way the cast interacts with the dragons is genius. It's wonderful. Them riding the dragons, fighting alongside them, it really feels like there were actual dragons with the actors while filming. It doesn't feel like CGI, because sometimes we say fake CGI. Even with all the advanced technology, we still watch certain productions and something feels off. The CGI doesn't convince. But How to Train Your Dragon nailed it, and it shows how easy it is to make a live action that actually pleases people. For me, this is going to be one of the biggest hits of 2025. I used to think Lilo and Stitch would be the biggest. That was my first guess. But after watching How to Train Your Dragon, now I'm not so sure. I think it might surpass Lilo and Stitch because it's super faithful, it's perfect, and that's what the audience wants to see. It's easy to make a good live action because the story is already there. The foundation is already set. You just need to follow the recipe and do it right. Simple. The recipe for success in live action is simple, but some still can't get it right, unfortunately. And in case you haven't noticed, we now have 3 videos here on the channel every single day. So if you don't want to miss anything and want to stay tuned for all the new stuff, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. DreamWorks got it right. Universal got it right. It's the first live-action adaptation of an animated movie they've ever done, and it worked. It turned out perfect. You just have to give the audience what they want to see. And I'll say even more, this is the first 3D animated movie in history to get a live-action version. We're witnessing a milestone in cinema history. This is something that's happening right now, and we're going to remember it for years. This is a historic moment, so go to the theater and enjoy it, so you can say, I watched the first 3D animated movie that got a live-action adaptation. Next up, we'll have Moana getting one too. So far, only Moana has been officially announced for next year, but How to Train Your Dragon already takes that spot, and I think this will start happening more and more often. The Incredibles? I think it's just a matter of time before Pixar makes a live-action version of The Incredibles. It might take a few years, but it's just a matter of time. You can really feel that they made it with passion. It was a movie made by fans for fans. The entire crew was super dedicated. And another interesting thing, the director is the same as the one from the original trilogy. He also wrote the script for this live action. It was amazing to see them all back. Seeing him return was incredible. There's just nothing bad to say. The training scenes, the ones where they're running from dragons, fighting dragons, it's all really well done. You genuinely feel like you're part of that training. And it was very faithful too, especially in many parts of the animation. The movie as a whole works really well. Well, I was satisfied watching this live action. Out of all the recent live action remakes, this one, I have nothing bad to say. Not a single thing like, this part could have been better, which we usually say. And some other remakes are just terrible, and I say that too. But How to Train Your Dragon, the first live action from DreamWorks based on an animated movie, was amazing. I have nothing bad to say. It surprised me. It exceeded my expectations. By the way, comment #toothless if you've made it this far in the video. If you comment that, I'll leave a heart on it, alright? As we know, the original animation is a trilogy, so obviously, they weren't going to stop this live-action franchise with just one movie, right? There's no reason for that, unless it completely bombed at the box office, but that's not going to be the case. The movie just premiered. It hasn't even been in theaters for a full week as of the moment I'm recording this video, and you can already tell that the movie is going to be a real success. It's going to be a hit. I think it'll reach $1 billion, maybe even more depending on how long it stays in theaters. They even announced that the second movie already has a release date, not just confirmation of the sequel, but the actual date before the first movie even came out. So in June 2027, 2 years from now, we'll get How to Train Your Dragon 2, the live action. We all already know what happens in that movie, but some scenes are not exactly happy ones. Still, it's going to be a success for sure. How to Train Your Dragon doesn't just appeal to kids, like a lot of people used to think. It actually appeals to adults too. And what's interesting to point out is that the first movie came out in 2010. That was 15 years ago. The kids who were 15 when they saw the first film in theaters are now 30. And when the live-action sequel comes out, they'll be 32. In other words, it's a movie for all ages. And that's what's great. It reaches everyone. It delivers that for you. So kids will enjoy it, teens will enjoy it, adults, seniors, everyone will enjoy it, especially fans of the franchise who already know what the story is about. It hits a wave of nostalgia that makes all the difference. But even people who never watched the animated version can easily enjoy this live action and will probably think it's an amazing film. And most likely, the third movie should come out in 4 years, 2 years after the second one. And then, who knows, maybe we'll even get a fourth animated movie. That's just my theory. About post-credit scenes, they could have added something more impactful. There is a post-credit scene, yes, but you'll have to decide if it's worth it, because it doesn't even last 2 seconds. It's super quick. Just one thing appears. I won't spoil it, but no characters show up. Just a single object. Nothing that really hints at a sequel. But honestly, I stayed until the end and thought, really? I waited all this time just for that? But since you're already there in the theater, 5 more minutes won't hurt. So it's your call. How to Train Your Dragon is perfect. If I had to describe it with one word, perfect. It stays very true to the animation, and that's something I personally really appreciate. It made me feel like I was actually in Burke. That's the feeling that made me say, wow, incredible. Now I'm leaving you with more videos about the world of cinema that you need to check out if you're a fan of animation and movies. We're posting 3 videos a day now. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video here on Cine Lovers.